this second painting, I'm doing some smaller forms, which they are more difficult to do. Now, to get the daisy to have some form, I take a very light orange and carmine to show a little underneath side here. This will help give them a little bit of form. Now that's still wet, top of this daisy, so I'll be careful. I think I'll work up top, up on the upper right. And for these small wild flowers, I'm going to splatter just to get a suggestion of the small forms. Now I'm using blue, and I think it's a little carmine. And then I'll let them work out a bit. So it's a combination of splatters. Then you've got to connect your splatters with some, let's use some sap green. So now with this tip of your brush just, and you can see you can use a large brush here. You don't have to have a tiny one. But the splatters give a nice indiscriminate kind of quality. Now I'm using paint straight from the paint supply here. Now let's go over to a blue iris, purple rather. Just a white background, but I do need something if I'm going to show these Queen Anne's lace. So you always start with a negative shape. I think that's a very important point. I think lots of times people would start to show all the detail in the Queen Anne's lace, and I'll just get very fussy. What you want is the essence of the white, and I'll try to mask that as if it's a large, not as complicated a shape as actually it is. So I'll paint around it first. And that's, again, it's one of those terrible art terms, negative shapes, because negative shapes almost would indicate that they weren't as important as positive shapes, but actually they are just as important. I do is I never wet my paper beforehand, but as you see I am using lots of water, so I will start on dry paper so that I can get these crisp edges. But then I also want the very wet look, the kind of watery look that I think is so important, because really nothing's worse than dry looking watercolors, the kind of scratchy kind. So you want to keep that sense of the medium.